Today, I want to talk about a hot topic that has been on everyone's mind lately. Rolex prices. Are they heading back up? That's what some gray dealers are saying. Or are they trying to hype up the market again? In my first Rolex price prediction video, I predicted a long-term slide, but also a dead cat bounce. That means a temporary recovery before another drop. Who's right? Who's wrong? Let's get into it. But before we do, I have some housekeeping to do. First of all, I'm an ambassador for WatchWorn. It's the home for watch nuts like us. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're missing out on some great discussions about watches. For example, right now there's a thread about watch brands to avoid. You don't want to buy a lemon, do you? So click the link in the description and join the conversation. Secondly, I'm super excited to announce that my next video will be a first impression video about my new Rolex Explorer. This is a very special watch for me because I purchased it in memory of my father who passed away November of last year. I can't wait to share my thoughts and feelings about this with you guys, so stay tuned for that. And last but not least, I want to thank Watch Charts for providing me with the data for this analysis. They do an amazing job of collecting and analyzing watch transaction data from various sources, all kinds of sources, and they generously make it available to the public. So if you're interested in watch trends and prices, you should definitely check them out. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Rolex prices. My last Rolex price trend video got some salty comments from gray dealers. One of them said, "Why should we listen to anyone wearing a broke-ass cheap Citizen watch?" Ouch, that hurt my feelings. Well, not really. I love my Citizen Eco Drive. It's reliable, accurate, and eco-friendly. What more could you want? So even John P. at Delray Watches was talking about Rolex prices stabilizing, and he's actually a reasonable guy. I like him. He knows his stuff, but what does the actual data show? Let's start with the big picture. Swiss exports, for the first time in 2 years, right? Swiss watch exports to the US have dropped. This is the first decline since January 2021. And that's not good news for the Swiss watch industry. The current rebound in China is not enough to compensate. China has been buying a lot of Swiss watches lately, but it's not enough to offset the decline in the US market. And lately we've been seeing data from the Chinese that their economy is again headed back down. So many gray dealers were hanging on to the hope of China being enough. We already see that it's not. But why is this happening? What's driving the Rolex prices down? What are the macroeconomic trends? Well, I can tell you as an economist, it's not money or love that makes the world go round. It's credit. Credit is what fuels the economy and allows people to buy things they can't afford with cash. You know, like Rolex watches, for example. But credit is not free. It has a cost. And that cost is determined by interest rates. And as we all know, the US Federal Reserve has been fighting inflation and raising rates. This means that the cost of credit has been going up. This results in reduced economic activity, and even the precious Rolex budget is getting squeezed. Imagine that. Rolex buyers are howling in pain as they see their credit card bills go up. So how does this affect Rolex prices? Let's look at some charts. Looking at the 5-year trend, we can see that there has been a price increase overall. Rolex watches have become more expensive over time. However, what is happening this year is the real question. Zooming in, we can see that the 6-month trend is showing a renewed decline. Rolex prices have been going down since January. And the 3-month trend shows the classic picture of what I called a dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce is when prices temporarily recover after a sharp drop, only to fall again afterwards. It's called a dead cat bounce because even a dead cat will bounce if you drop it from high enough. But it doesn't mean that the cat is alive again. It means that some buyers are taking advantage of lower prices and buying some watches. But it doesn't mean that there is enough demand to sustain those ever higher prices. That's what we're seeing here with Rolex prices. And they will keep falling as long as the cost of credit keeps rising and remains high. And yes, the Federal Reserve is signaling 2 more rate hikes for just this year. So folks, hang on to your hats. Now, some of you might be wondering, what about other brands? Are they doing better or worse than Rolex? Well, let's take a look at some examples. Surprisingly, we see that Longines is still trending up. But is anyone talking about them as an investment watch? Of course not. That would be silly. Longines makes some really great watches, but they're not in the same league as Rolex. They don't have the same prestige, the same history, the same cachet. They don't have the same hype. And look at what's been happening to Grand Seiko. Wow. It's been a great ride up, but also a crash down. Grand Seiko is a brand that I admire and respect. They make some of the finest watches in the world. They've been riding the wave of Japanese watchmaking excellence and popularity, but they've also been riding the wave of credit-fueled speculation and hype, and now they're paying the price for it. This is why it's foolish to regard watches as investments. Watches are not investments. They're hobbies. They're passions. They're luxuries. They're meant to be enjoyed, not hoarded. They're meant to be worn, not stored. They're meant to be appreciated, not speculated. Now, don't get me wrong. I love watches. I love Rolex. I love Grand Seiko. I love Longines. I love Citizen. But I don't love them for their prices. I love them for their designs, their craftsmanship, their stories, even maybe their personalities. I don't buy them to make money. I buy them to make memories. And that's what I feel you should do too. Don't buy watches because you think they will go up in value. Buy watches because you like them and you want to wear them. Don't worry about what other people think or say about your watches. Worry about what you think and feel about your own watches. Don't let the market dictate your choices. Let your heart dictate your choices. That's how you enjoy watches. That's how you enjoy life. At least that's my approach. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with my analysis? Do you think Rolex prices will go up or down? Do you care? Let me know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified of my next video, which, like I said, will be a first impression about my new Rolex Explorer 214270. I can't wait to share it with you. And remember, keep calm and watch on.